Ugh. Y'all smell that? Because to me it smells like some bullshit. And that's just what we're getting ready to talk about today. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show. And I tried to vow to myself that I wasn't going to do it. I vowed to myself I was not going to talk about this man anymore. But folks, I'm sorry. I've just recently ran across a story about little tsunami, little thunderstorm, point him out in the courtroom, little testimony for the prosecution, little hibachi grill 69, little a 5-year-old could write a more intelligent rap, little are you smarter than a 5th grader, little pocket holder, little don't you ever go washing your colored clothes with your whites, especially when you're using Tekashi 69. Folks, I just ran across a story that makes me absolutely sick. I hate when I see stuff like this. And folks, when I share this with you, I'm sure that you're going to feel some kind of way about this as well. Or you're probably a Tekashi fan who's going to hate this video, and for that fact, I'm sorry. And folks, we're about to have new After Prison Show merch on the way for the tech fans. Hashtag free little tiki hut. But I just ran across a story, and I'm sure some of you guys have seen this as well, talking about Tekashi 69 getting resentenced for a charge involving a 13-year-old child. And, you know, I'm still trying to piece it all together. Like, how did you become famous? How are you a Billboard chart-topping rapper? And you've got that type of a charge on your record, though. And you pled guilty to it. But folks, this is a huge story in the little Sour Patch Kids world. And when I first heard this, I thought that this was a really good thing. Because when I saw what this guy got originally for this charge, again, where he pled guilty to this, folks, I couldn't even believe this. I don't know if I've ever heard of anything like this happening before. But then again, on the flip side of the coin, you probably hear about this type of stuff all the time, where somebody like me who had drug charges ends up with all this time, almost 10 years in prison. I had to serve for those charges. I did the crime. I did the time. But then you got somebody who's got these type of charges, and in a lot of times, they don't get nearly enough time. And when I read what they originally gave this little Honda hatchback VTEC spoon engine, I was sicker to my stomach than reading that top 10 YouTubers list of 2018 and realizing that the #1 highest grossing YouTuber was a 7-year-old making $22 million. But Tekashi would end up pleading guilty to this charge initially and would receive a sentence that was absolutely preposterous to me. He received 1,000 hours of community service and 4 years of probation. You know, all I could think to myself is, how does that happen and where they do that at? And you know, maybe some people are like, you know what, so what? He made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes, you know, and he fessed up to it. He owned up to it. He pled guilty after all, didn't he? You know what? Really analyze that fact right there. He pled guilty. Guess what? He probably didn't have no choice but to plead guilty. Because if I can remember correctly, I think Cody was the one that told me this. I think it was this youngin' who was, you know, a part of this crime that he had committed, this charge that he got, who extorted, exposed, and put this dude all the way out there. Because there was a video of it. How? I mean, first of all, what you did was absolutely horrible. But on the flip side, like, how do you even, why was there a video? Oh yeah, go ahead and film it. Hey, Tech 9 for life. Hey, can I be in your Instagram store? I'm Little Tater Tot 62. That means I eat 62 tater tots anytime I slide them in the mic. Well, I like them tater tots. This guy would initially receive 1,000 hours of community service for this charge and also 4 years of probation. An extremely light sentence, in my own personal opinion. You know, I truly feel like people who have those type of charges, they deserve a life sentence. Just go ahead and lock them up for life. You ain't doing nothing right out here. You got no do right in you at all. Life. When I run for president in 2020, Joe for president 2020, After Prison Show for the Oval Office. I'm running on 4 things now. I'm trying to remember what the third one. We're gonna make weed legal. Fortnite will be illegal. You will no longer be allowed to just leave a thumbs up on Facebook anytime anybody takes the time out of their day to type you a message via Messenger. I mean, they probably type you a whole paragraph. You will it will be illegal to respond to that message simply via thumbs up. I hate when people do that to me. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, look, I'm trying to and I really feel this way, and thank you for letting me share. Whew, I'm glad I got that off of my chest. Thumbs up! That's your response to all that I just poured my heart out on Messenger. You're gonna give me a thumbs up in response. Weed will be legal. Fortnite will be illegal. You will no longer be able to use the thumbs up button on Facebook for a response on Messenger. And the 4th thing will be, if you got you some charges like this, you automatically get in life. No second chances. Do not pass. Go collect $200. Straight to jail. Vote for me. I got a strong campaign I'm running on, folks. I mean, they didn't even give this dude no jail time at all, I don't think. I mean, he might have got locked up initially, had to go turn himself in, but he probably made bond right then and there, and then boom! 1,000 hours of community service, 4 years of probation, and FYI, I just want to throw this out there. Do y'all know how long 1,000 hours is? I actually did the math, and you guys know I'm not very good when it comes to that, but I used the calculator on my phone. 1,000 hours is something like 42 days. That's a lot of damn community service. But again, there's big news that they're gonna re-sentence this guy for these charges, and I'm just like, yes, I know that this dude's gonna end up getting time. He's gotten in more trouble since then. He is definitely gonna get more time. Plus, he was on probation. You know, one of the rules and the guidelines, the stipulations of being on probation is don't get in any more trouble. You was on probation, somehow miraculously, you ended up famous and also on probation. And one of the biggest rules, the biggest guidelines, the biggest things that you have to abide by is do not get in any more trouble. And you was already on probation for something very, very serious. And now what you're locked up for is something just as serious, if not even way more serious. Because now you're dealing with the federales, the hot boys, them alphabet boys, them men in black, them government people, them wiretaps, and unmarked cars, Quantico, Virginia, and that new show on CBS. Them boys. Folks that you don't never want to have no problems. Folks who giving out more time than football numbers. You get in a football jersey anytime you walk into they don't even sentence you in years. They sentence you in months, and we're talking hundreds of months. Where they will career you out, give you a career criminal act or career criminal charge, carrying a mandatory 15 plus whatever you're already facing. The FBI, folks that you don't never want to have no beef with. This dude brought back some really serious stuff. Federal racketeering, federal weapons charges, not even one weapon, weapons, plural. S at the end of it. And you know, then go ahead and throw on the fact that you can't even complete this community service. Does anybody know how much of these 1,000 hours little Tay-Tay has already completed? He ain't do none of it though. Oh, you was just out there looking for more trouble. You ain't even trying to right the wrongs that you was already wrong for. You know, y'all might wonder who I'm talking to when I'm looking over in this direction, and I want to go ahead and introduce you to somebody I don't think that you have met yet. Judy. Y'all make sure y'all leave a comment saying hello to her down in the comments section. She's actually one of the newer members of After Prison Show that I've yet to have a chance to introduce you guys to. And she sits there over there in the corner. That way when I'm doing my little skits, I'm actually talking to somebody. I'm not just talking to the wall. It makes it feel more real. But yes, of course, for those of you who probably are already assuming so, she is a blow-up doll. Joe, why you got a blow-up doll over there in the corner? Hey, Judy, what's good with you? It's Big P. Hey, Big P, girl, you go ahead and there's a barcode on the back of that thing. That was from yesterday's video, if you guys got a chance to see that. If not, you're probably like, what? This dude crazy. You brought back charges while you were on probation, and you probably did not get anywhere near completing that community service that they sentenced you to. So when I'm reading a headline that says, Hibachi Grill 69 about to be re-sentenced, all I can think to myself is, finally, this guy is gonna get the time that he deserves. Justice is about to be served. But folks, there's a lot of things in this world that just don't make any sense at all. How is this guy famous? Didn't he start out on SoundCloud? I remember seeing videos of this dude from way back in the day on Facebook, thinking to myself, boy, if you're willing to put all them colors in, you took a whole pack of markers and just dumped them joints in. Like, if you're willing to go that far for fame, anything for the views, I guess sometimes it works. Anybody know about that dude, Lil Windex? I think Tekashi and Lil Windex were coming up about the same time. But again, folks, some things just don't make any damn sense. Just like what this resentencing for this charge would actually entail. And folks, there was a conversation, a lawyer meeting, a powwow, a little get-together. They was kicking the bobo, chopping it up. They was parlaying, having a conversation inside the courtroom, something like what you might see on Law and Order. They got together, I think it was on last Friday. Tata's lawyers and the prosecution behind closed doors, and they came to an agreement. How they came to this agreement, I will never understand. But folks, the agreement that they came to is they're getting ready to give this dude time served. I mean, it just seems like certain people can just get away with anything. And you know, when you think about the average Joe who walks into a courtroom and gets his boots smoked, gets his wig peeled back to the white meat, gets oiled up, gets greased up like a piece of bacon inside of a frying pan, gets set ablaze inside the courtroom, judge threw the book at that dude, boom! Gets set like he's playing spades on a spades table in prison. When you think about your average Joe who can walk into a courtroom for lesser charges and gets way more time, how is it that little Rainbow Bright can get away with this? I mean, it just don't make no sense to me. That ain't fair. What about the rest of the folks who's locked up for even lesser things, who got way more time? Y'all explain that to me. And let's go ahead and throw in this little footnote as well. You might think that I'm just sitting here frying this dude and I don't like him. You're right about that. But anything that we're doing for this dude is just more publicity for him. And we ain't the only ones doing it. We late to the party, to be honest with you. There are possibly endless media sources out there that are covering this dude's story the way that we are. Probably not nowhere near the way that we are, but they're covering the story nonetheless. And there's a saying that goes, any publicity is good publicity. Well, I'm not sure publicity involving a child is much good publicity, but you never know. Because while this dude is sitting there locked up wherever he's at, possibly in PC, an album of his just dropped. I think it was late last month. And that joint was supposed to top the Billboard charts, but then there was some kind of conspiracy to make it number 2. But really it's supposed to be number 1. There was some false counting going on, some counterfeit counting, some numbers were being held. I mean, I don't know why. If it was number 2 and it was really supposed to be number 1, why didn't you just let it be number 1? I can't believe that it was number 1. Jay-Z just released a song with Meek Mills and Rick Ross on this new Meek Mills song called Free. I think that's the name of the song. And Jay-Z said, we used to aspire to be on Billboard. Now we look at Billboard like, what the F is y'all doing? And by the way, that's like my favorite song right now. What's Free? Meek Mills, Jay-Z, Rick Ross, absolute banger. And I'm not exactly sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard Rick Ross throwing a little shade at one of these little mumble rappers. I'm just wondering if that was directed at little Thousand Island dressing. Y'all let me know if you know. I really wonder how and why it was agreed upon, this deal was struck between the prosecution, this dude's lawyers, why the prosecution would ever go for this. I don't know. Why it was agreed that this guy just received time served for that. Part of me feels like it might be because he's facing worser charges. The feds is going to oil him up. He's facing 25 to life. I truly doubt he's going to end up with anywhere near that amount of time. That's just my little hypothesis. I got a feeling this dude's going to be out sooner or later. He's going to end up doing a little bit of time, but I don't think he's really going to end up with all that time that they're trying to give to him. He's got some high-paid lawyers. It's hard to beat the feds. I'm going to tell you that right now. The feds got a 90% conviction rate, but he does have some high-paid lawyers. He's pleading not guilty to this. And forget the lawyer, forget the not guilty plea. It's all going to come down to those 5 little things on his hands right there inside the courtroom going like this. Your Honor, it was all 5 of them right there. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 of them. Hey, like a Fantastic Four superpower. You want to do this time for me? So I'm kind of conflicted about all of this. He had 1,000 hours of community service to do. They just let him off scot-free. Probably didn't get hardly any of that done. I don't know. Maybe they came to the agreement. They were like, well, look, let's just go ahead and call it time served. He ain't going to finish the 4 years of probation. All he do is get in trouble out there. I'm talking to you, Big Booty Judy. He ain't going to complete the probation. All he does is get in trouble out there. And yes, he's barely done a half hours out of that 1,000 hours of community service. But, prosecutor, let's be real about this. 2-stroke Suzuki 125 is locked up. If you don't think he's going to be doing some sort of community service while he's in there, you might want to think again about that. Have you seen the color of this man's hair? Maybe the prosecutor agreed to it because they think he's going to complete that community service while he's locked up. If you get my drift, you get what I'm saying there? Some service? Wow, y'all got some dirty mind. What type of service y'all think he's going to be doing in there? I was talking about washing other prisoners' laundry and also their dirty Tupperware dishes and coffee cups. Little tumble wash, little spin cycle, little washing machine. Little dirty pots and pans, 69. Look at you over there washing them bowls. Little bowl washer, 69 is what we're going to be calling you in here. You ain't no Tekashi 69 inside these walls. You a little bowl washer. Wash that bowl. Make sure it's clean now before you bring it back to me. Crazy situation. I guess, with money and fame and fortune comes special privileges. I also read a story, I don't know how true this is or not, but I do want to throw this out there for a little conspiracy theory type of stuff. I read a story that said, there were other prisoners who were mad because Tekashi was getting special favoritism and special treatment while serving this time thus far. And I can imagine he's getting all sorts of special treatment and favoritism. I can imagine they got him somewhere very special and favorable, tucked away safely. But you never know. Maybe they don't. Maybe he is in Gen Pop. I've got no idea how this whole situation is going to unravel with Tech 9. I can only imagine him serving like 2, maybe 4 years after he's testified against God knows the entire SoundCloud mafia, coming home, seeing these after prison show videos. But I really want to hear what you guys think about this whole situation. Please comment down below. How much time you think this dude's going to get? What do you think about this resentencing time served thing? I mean, who fell in an effort to get you that deal? R.I.P. to that guy. Y'all let me know what you think. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment. Let me know exactly what you thought about it. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, nor ever listen to Tay-Tay, Lil Cash Me Outside's music, and make the most of every day. Peace! Oh, there's going to be some salty fans after this one, boy. Oh, they're going to be salty.